Hello, welcome to Tabletop Militia. I am Riot, and today I will be going over the Creality SR6 CE. So I've already put this together earlier in a stream, and the biggest thing is this printer good for beginners? Honest answer, flat out, yes. I had no experience whatsoever with 3D printing using filament. Now I've done resin printing. I have a resin printer that I used quite a bit for miniatures, but I've never ever messed with a filament type 3D printer, and it was mainly for terrain. But I'll give you some close-ups of these. Now, there were some questions about, like, I saw some videos that were complaining about wisping and things like that, like the spider web effect. You can adjust on the fly the settings, like, temperatures and the nozzle height and stuff like that. The only thing I really messed with was the temperature. I kicked it down about 10 degrees. That seemed to clear up some of the wisping, and I'm sure if I just change to a better grade filament, that'll pretty much take care of it completely. But I did want to show off some, and I've purchased tons of terrain on Etsy, and none of them have ever been this good. Now, I'm sure they print them a lot faster because they're selling them, but if you look, there's barely any artifacts. And I'm sure it has to do with the slicer software and the STL. This is an actual destroyed part of the building that printed in. There's like lattice work that's in here that turned out, amazing. You can see the wiring and the little. I'm sure once I get a primer on here and get it painted, you'll be able to see like the little buttons in here. But yeah, I really had. This was a set it and forget it type thing. This is a well base. There's another piece that goes inside. You can see the ring it has in here, and the slicer software it has a. You just click kind of like a auto support kind of thing, and it's. Because it's a larger piece and it's not a miniature, it seemed a lot easier than the supports for miniatures. But it just did an amazing job. But these are like this little, let's see if we can get, you can barely see it, but I just pulled it off. It was like a little wisp there. They really turned out good. And one of the reasons that I had been looking into the Ender 3. I had seen the upgrades that were required just to make it a little better. I saw the videos on leveling, and it just seemed like a lot of work, especially if prints didn't go well. So when this came out, I was reading about. It had the auto leveling, it had upgrades, pretty much an upgraded Ender 3 is what it is, with auto leveling. I think the Kickstarter price was $319. I have $300 in terrain that I've purchased on Etsy. And then, getting STL files, from Thingiverse or whatever, or learning Fusion 360 itself. It's certainly a possibility, but there's tons of STL files out there, and they're certainly a lot cheaper, and it doesn't use that much filament. I was really impressed. The amount of resin I used for a miniature compared to what I pulled off here, filament related, is quite impressive. How long a spool will last. And they range from $20 to $60 for a filament roll. But all in all, is this a printer for beginners? As a beginner, yes, because it was very much a do-it-yourself kit that was very easy to put together. Even though the instructions were a little fumbly here and there, it wasn't rocket science putting it together. All the tools you needed are there. I did switch. I didn't use it. It's got a little tool drawer. I switched this out for 5-in-1. Just so it had a flatter blade on it to get it off the bed. But it comes off the bed fairly easy. It is a heated bed. Everything, it's very, very simple, and I haven't had any issues. I had, my first print fail, but that was all me. That was something that I did wrong. But is it a printer for beginners? I would say 100% yes. Is it a printer for everybody? I don't know. But, for beginners, literally, I've either, so these were all 3 separate prints, and I either got insanely lucky, or it just works that well. So, you can take that for what it's worth, and, hopefully if you do get one, you have the same results and you enjoy it as much as I have. I'm certainly going to be printing off a lot more stuff in the future, and can't wait to get, some designs on the table. That's my biggest thing, is building a table that I would enjoy playing on, for whether it be Necromunda or Infinity or Star Wars Legion, or even Kill Team or something. I was insanely impressed. It's awesome. So thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time.